offensive tackle rankings, the official PFF offensive tackle rankings. Number 1, Trent Williams, still cooking as the best tackle in the NFL. Number 2, Tristan Wirfs from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 3, Penei Sewell from the Detroit Lions. Number 4, Christian Darrisaw from the Minnesota Vikings. Number 5, Jordan Mailata, and then Lane Johnson at 6, both from the Eagles. Tyron Smith, number 7, now at the New York Jets. Laramie Tunsil, number 8 from the Houston Texans. Rashawn Slater, number 9 from the Chargers. And number 10, Colton Miller from the Las Vegas Raiders. So what does your top 5 look like?
So I have the same top 3 from this list. I have Trent Williams at 1. It's just until Trent Williams takes a serious dip, I don't know how you could not have him at number 1, because until he shows that, okay, he cannot keep up physically anymore. Not only is he a physical freak, but he is also now just smart, right? He's got so many years under his belt. He's seen it all. So it's the best of both worlds right now. And until he really takes a step back, I don't think you can put anybody else at number 1. And it's really saying something, because you've got 2, and even more than just 2, a handful of really great young offensive tackles who are ascending in the league. Tristan Wirfs proved that now he's not just a right tackle in the NFL. He could also play left tackle, splitting his time there over the last 2 years, playing really well, recording really good PFF grades while doing so. So I got Tristan Wirfs and his versatility and just his overall ceiling at number 2 on this list. Penei Sewell took a massive jump up this past year, was better as a pass protector, but was an elite run blocker. I mean, this dude, for what the Lions asked him to do, I mean, he is the perfect right tackle prospect for them. So Penei Sewell taking a jump into the elite category last year. I think that is only going to continue for him as one of the most talented offensive linemen in the NFL. I got Lane Johnson from Philadelphia, truly just out of respect for what this dude has been throughout his entire career and how he has continued to battle through injuries and yet stay one of the steadiest, most reliable offensive tackles in the NFL. So I got him at number 4. And then I was sort of torn between some of these younger guys like Jordan Mailata. I thought about him. I thought about Christian Darrisaw as well. Thought about putting Laramie Tunsil or Rashawn Slater in here. I ended up going with Andrew Thomas because Thomas had such an elite 2022 season. 2023 wasn't as strong, but he missed a lot of time for a hamstring injury. And anybody knows, when you seriously hurt your hamstring, it's not just, oh, okay, it's healed up, it's good to go. It's hard to go all out the way you need to as a football player throughout that entire season. So even though he was able to come back and he played fine, I think that the reasons why we didn't see that elite Andrew Thomas are more injury related than anything else. So I see that 2022 season as more of the true version of kind of who he is. And I think that if you take what he was in 2022, to me, that's OT5 on this list. So that's why I got Andrew Thomas here. And if he's fully healthy going into 2024, I think we're very quickly reminded of how good he is as an offensive tackle.
So we have the same top 5, but in a different order. My number 1 is Trent Williams, like everybody else. Number 2, I went with Lane Johnson. I think that Lane Johnson has one of the most difficult kind of assignments on a down-to-down basis of any tackle in the NFL. They completely leave him on an island and say, you're the best tackle out here. Go do your job. We trust you. You're going to do that gig. I think he's a better tackle than Jordan Mailata. The official PFF rankings had them flipped. I think Lane Johnson is significantly better than Mailata. They're both great, but I think he's the more proven commodity and the guy that they trust the most blocking anybody one-on-one. Tristan Wirfs is my number 3 guy. I agree with you. He's shown incredible versatility. He played right tackle, was as good as Lane Johnson almost at right tackle. He's basically the same guy on the left side as well. He's one of the best tackles, great in both pass blocking and run blocking. Andrew Thomas was my number 4. Agree with you. I think the season before last, he looked like arguably the best left tackle in the NFL, right up there with Trent Williams. Doesn't have Trent Williams' power, brute force, but nobody does. But he's an amazing pass blocker, really improved throughout his career. And then number 5, Penei Sewell. He's the guy that's closest to Trent Williams in terms of just pure power in the run game. What he can do to move people is crazy, and he's a really good pass blocker as well. So belongs in the top 5. And then the one guy from outside the top 5 that I would sort of make a case for but couldn't find a way to get him in there is Laramie Tunsil, who as just a pure pass protecting left tackle is probably as good as it gets. Like, may even be better than Trent Williams. Doesn't have the same run blocking chops that some of these other guys do. But if like that's the thing you want, I just need the best pass blocker in the game on my left side, protect my quarterback. You're not going to get better than Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, Tunsil was in this. When I was thinking about who was going to be 5 on this list, Tunsil was right there with, again, I thought about Mailata, I thought about Tunsil, I thought about Darisaw, ended up going Andrew Thomas, but I think Tunsil would have been next there to give him that recognition because he is very close to that.
Shout out to Colton Miller as well in the top 10 of the PFF rankings.
Yeah, man. Colton Miller is having like the quietest rise into being a top 10 offensive tackle in the NFL. Like, nobody talks about Colton Miller, and I just think that he's been really good, obviously, as of late.
He's the one massive first round reach of the John Gruden draft era that worked, right? Like every single time they drafted a first rounder, it was a massive reach, and everyone was like, that's crazy, that's a terrible draft pick, including when they did it for Colton Miller. But he's the one guy that's actually worked out. It took a little bit of time, but now he's cooking. He's a top 10 player at that position, looks fantastic. And that was the one spot where, okay, they got it right that time. They reached for a guy. It seemed aggressive at the time, and he's become the player that they thought he was. Now they just, they got carried away and overdrafted everybody else from that point onwards, and those didn't work out. But that's the one that did.
Cleveland Farrell at 4.
Yeah. Culture, though, changed massively. Real locker room guy.
I mean, it did eventually. Yeah. I mean, like the whole culture did actually change, but,